Everybody loves a good rags to riches story. You know the ones. Some kid launches a store, and 3 months later, he's driving a Lamborghini through town. Here's the dirty little secret, though. Those stories are they're almost always fake. And today, I want to cut through the noise and reveal to you the truth about overnight success in e-commerce. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears going on here. If you've ever scrolled Instagram, TikTok, and thought, wow, that brand just blew up overnight, you're only seeing the highlight reel. What happened behind the scenes? Years of mistakes, testing, and absolute grind. In this episode, I'm going to break down for you why overnight success is a myth and what you should focus on instead. Because let me ask you this. If I told you that it takes 10 years to become an overnight success, would you believe me? Would you still go for it? Because in e-commerce, that is the rule, not the exception. Today, we're going to break down and unpack some of the biggest so-called overnight successes, overnight brands, and I'm going to show you what really went into their rise. I'm going to do that in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
No fluff, no hype, just the real deal. Wayne Altman's here, yeah, you know the drill. Talking business, talking shop, making moves non-stop. From e-com to hustle, straight talk, no props. Straight talk, no gimmicks, no lies. Hey, I break it down with the sharpest minds. Money, moves, mindset, grind. If you're ready to win, then tune in live. Big names, big games, all the lessons they bring. From Jelly Belly to AA Kings. From the startup grind to the top tier pros. We crack the code, now here we go. Straight talk, commerce, getting the know. Wayne Altman, let's start the show.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome to Straight Talk Commerce. This podcast is where we skip over the hype and we tell you the truth about what it really takes to succeed in e-commerce, in business, frankly, generally. My name is Wayne Altman. Today's episode is called The Truth About Overnight Success in E-commerce. And I can't tell you how many times someone has asked me, Wayne, how do I launch a store today and be 6 figures deep by next month? Because you see that on YouTube all the time. You get these yahoos telling people that in 30 days they ramped up to $100,000 or $1.2 million. And here's my honest answer. You don't. At least not sustainably. You may hit a quick punch. You may hit a quick hit. But every big brand that you admire, the ones that look like they came out of the ether, came out of just nowhere, they spent years in the dark before anyone ever even noticed them. Let's break this down. Because social media glorifies the quick win. YouTube is especially guilty of this, but TikTok equally, and Instagram is pretty bad too. You get screenshots of $100,000 Shopify dashboards. You get viral TikToks. The illusion that you can hack, that there's some kind of shortcut or hack your way to a massive fortune, is absolutely proliferates the internet. It makes my job so much more difficult because who the hell wants to hear the bald dude talk about how much work this is when you got Muscles McMuscleheimer over here telling you that it's super easy. Every one of these so-called overnight wins has a hidden backstory, and most of them are outright fraud to begin with. No one, we're going to talk about this, no one is cleaning up after these guys, as far as I can tell. From the outside, let me give you a case study on this. You know I like doing that. From the outside, Pura Vida looked like 2 guys on vacation who just stumbled into $1 million business. It's not true. In reality, they spent 2 years figuring out how to import, package, and sell handmade bracelets. They were hustling from dorm room to dorm room and dealing with very inconsistent suppliers before the brand ever caught on. And that doesn't even take away from the fact that they spend a lot of their time making sure that they've changed their inventory, that their new stuff comes out looking like something people would want to buy. That overnight look, that was the payoff of years and years of groundwork, of actual blood, sweat, and tears and knowledge, you guys. This is what you're going after right now. Many of you are going to start a business that isn't going to be where you land, the end of things. Because some of you are going to go into business, you're going to find out this isn't exactly, you want to work for yourself. This business isn't exactly what it is you want to do. Let me give you another case study. Chubbies shorts. Look, I've heard the story a million times. People love to say that Chubbies came out of nowhere. And they've got some wild frat boy looking style shorts. But the truth of the matter is far different. The 4 founders spent 3 years experimenting with tiny drops, small amounts of inventory, hosting college events and testing ad styles before they ever became any kind of a household name. They're doing great now, don't get me wrong. But it took years of planning and experimentation and testing before the explosion happened. And that explosion is basically the tipping point. Once you get on the bull, you've got to ride the bull. And that's what a lot of people don't appreciate. Behind every overnight hit is months, usually years, of hidden grind. It's not sexy. That's why these people do not want to talk about it. Bombas. Everybody remembers Bombas from Shark Tank, but it was years before they ever got anywhere near Shark Tank. The brand donates a pair of socks for everyone it sells. And it looks to the outside world like they blew up overnight. But before that, before any of the Shark Tank, the founders spent 2 years testing over 100 different prototypes to make a sock different enough and worth buying. It's a sock. That viral TV moment was years in preparation. It was only possible because of the grind that no one was privy to, no one saw. Give you another example of what I'm talking about. Casper. Casper looks like they invented the mattress in a box category. And it looks like they did it overnight. But in reality, that's not at all true. In reality, it took years of begging on their hands and knees manufacturers to even try to vacuum seal and ship their mattresses. And once they launched, they burned through millions of dollars in cash on acquisition and costs and facing churn problems. And nobody talks about this, you guys. No one talks about the pain that it took to get to that destination. The glossy branding does a very good job of masking the operational chaos of that business. If you've ever heard of Dr. Squatch, this is another one of my favorites. Because, a few years ago, no one knew anything about Dr. Squatch. You see the funny commercials, you see the very good smelling soaps and the things that these guys produce. It's great. And if you've ever seen their hilarious YouTube ads, you would think that Dr. Squatch came out of absolute nowhere. But Jack Haldrup launched the company in 2013, and for 7 years, it was a side hustle while he worked on a full-time job. He had to feed his family. That overnight success that we're talking about, it only happened after nearly a decade, almost 10 years of very, very plodding, slow growth, product tweak, building distribution, getting his marketing and his business, sharpened to a point where it could catch fire, where it could ignite. One more example, Tuft and Needle. Casper's biggest rival also looked like an instant disruptor. Okay, everybody talks about the disruption and the disruptors. But founders JT Marino and Dehe Park bootstrapped the entire brand. And they worked nights, and they worked weekends, and they worked late, and they got in early, and they personally handled every customer service email for years. And you need to be prepared to do that too. We talk about that all the time here. Only once it was ready, once you get the skills, can you actually kick the tires, light the fires, and take off in that rocket ship. It comes with knowledge. It doesn't come in you're going to start right out of high school, 3 months, and boom. No, it doesn't work that way, which is good. All of this is good news for you. Because here's the real takeaway. Overnight success is usually long-term consistency meeting that tipping point. You're guaranteeing yourself success by the education that you're getting along the way. Let me give you an example of this. Ugg Monk. Jeff Sheldon built his niche lifestyle brand with 10 years of tiny product drops and very consistent storytelling. And people now see it as an indie fashion success. But it's a long time coming, you guys. It was very slow and steady growth. Just like Bees Travel. Actress Shay Mitchell's luggage line looks like an instant celebrity-backed hit. Not true. In reality, she and her team spent 2 years in development and testing before they even launched, and years afterward in order to get the mixture right. What looked like instant credibility was years of prep work in advance. Let me give you 3 truths about overnight success. Number 1, the tipping point looks instant. It does. But the foundation underneath took years to build. Number 2, failures are invisible to most. You'll have scars, but the public won't see those scars if you do this right. But they are necessary for consider them the tuition fees for success. All of those, those bruises and bumps and black eyes. Consider that the tuition for your success. And consistency, number 3, is the only shortcut. In other words, you will be successful if you peck. You constantly, that drip of water, that constant effort is going to win the day. If you're listening and you're still chasing that e-commerce lottery ticket, stop it. Build systems, build skills, build something every single day that will compound on another and another and another. That is when you will start to see real wins, because that's when they happen. If this episode gave you a reality check, please share it with someone who's still chasing the get-rich-quick dream in e-commerce. Trust me, they need to hear that way more than they will ever know, and will probably come and thank you. Like, subscribe, and I will see you next week. Thank you, guys.
Just the real deal. Wayne Altman's here, yeah, you know the drill. Talking business, talking shop, making moves non-stop. From e-com to hustle, straight talk, no props. Straight talk, no gimmicks, no lies. Hey, I break it down with the sharpest minds. Money, moves, mindset, grind. If you're ready to win, then tune in live. Big names, big games, all the lessons they bring. From Jelly Belly to AA Kings. From the startup grind to the top tier pros, we crack the code. Now